My name is Hubby. Due to a slight change in climate, my rural home is plagued by insects, so every year, as a 34-year-old housewife, I devote myself to pest control and have become a hunter. In the past, I used to say insects are scary, without any shame, but now that I'm over 30, I hate them without expression. I must say I have become quite tough. Today, I want to tell you a story about how I punished my own sister who had a crush on my husband. It was a few years ago, when I was still in my 20s. A junior high school reunion was held after a long time, and I reunited with Kai, a childhood friend who used to live in the neighborhood with me and my 2-year younger sister Christy, and played with us. However, he gradually became more embarrassed about playing with girls, which is a typical feeling for boys, and he drifted away from us. In junior high school, Kai's family moved away, making us even more distant. So, I was really nervous when we talked at the reunion. But as an adult, I had a powerful ally. Yes, alcohol. I love you, alcohol. With the power of alcohol, I became stronger. And Kai, whose tongue was loosened by alcohol, had a lively conversation that didn't seem like we had been separated for a long time. Just 2 of us went to the second and third parties, and when it was time to say goodbye, Kai said, "I liked you when we were kids, and it seems like I still do even as adult. What the heck? So do you want to go out with me?" And that was how our relationship began, with a casual exchange. Later, while sober, Kai was lying on the floor and rolling around while self-reflecting and saying, "Man, I said too much. I'm so embarrassed. How corny. Who do I think I am? A cool guy? A king?" Of course, I couldn't help but laugh out loud at him being so embarrassed and the cause being himself. I felt a little bad for him, but it was funny. After that, we quickly decided to get married and went to each other's homes to make introductions and to start living together 6 months before the wedding. We wanted to confirm each other's lifestyle before getting married, since we were childhood friends and our parents already knew each other. It was supposed to be a simple process, but unfortunately, there was a problem when Kai came to my home for a meal and to introduce himself to my family. "I'm back!" My sister returned from work with a tired voice. As soon as she spotted Kai sitting at the table, her surprised expression turned into a happy one. "Kai, what are you doing here?" Kai replied hesitantly. "Oh, well," and glanced at me. "Actually, we've been dating for about 6 months now, and we've decided to get married. We came here today to tell you the news." Thinking that I should tell my family myself, I explained the situation to my sister on behalf of Kai. In that moment, my sister's expression changed to one of clear disgust. "Okay, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Bye." She went to her room with a loud bang, slamming the door shut. I felt bad for making her uncomfortable and looked at Kai, worried. He smiled back at me and said, "Don't worry about it." I should mention that my sister isn't always like this. She must have had some problem with my marriage or living arrangement, but even our parents didn't show any issues. So what could be bothering her so much? I couldn't understand my sister's feelings, and I wasn't sure if I should ask her directly even after Kai had left. As I was heading towards the bus, I bumped into her in the halfway. Christy glared at me with a fierce expression and said, "Oh, I never thought my older sister would marry Kai. I've liked him for so long. I'll never forgive him." My younger sister stormed off, her angry footsteps echoing like the world of a demon. I was left to stand by her unexpected confession. "Seriously? She likes Kai?" It felt like something out of a daytime soap opera, and I couldn't help but feel overwhelmed. I spent the night tossing and turning, unable to sleep, but it gave me the answer I needed. If my sister likes my fiancé, is there really a problem? After all, our marriage is already set in stone. If Kai liked my sister, that would be a different story, but that wasn't the case. And if my sister had liked him since childhood, she should have told him sooner. Her failure to express her feelings was her own fault, and blaming me was completely misplaced. I knew my sister might be upset with me, but I had a big heart and could handle it. I decided to take an optimistic view of the situation and not let it weigh me down. However, I was still unsure whether to tell Kai about my sister's feelings. If I didn't, he would keep coming to our house and experiencing those awkward moments without understanding why. As a party involved, he deserved an explanation. So I decided to come clean and tell him everything. "If there's anything you need, let me know. I don't think there's much I can do, though." Kai was worried about me. "Yeah, it's a problem between sisters. If my younger sister ever tries to attack me, maybe I'll use you as a shield." "Hey, don't joke around like that." Hahaha. And that's how we both decided not to think too deeply about it. Neither of us planned to change our decision about getting married, and it wasn't a problem that we could convince my sister to understand, so there was nothing we could do but leave it alone. That was our choice. As expected, my sister's treatment towards me became much harsher. On the first day, after she took a bath, she drained the hot water from the bathtub. It wasn't a big deal, since there was a shower. I could even make a joke about how my sister was just being silly and doing such a small and insignificant thing. But when she hid my makeup and wallet before work, I felt quite helpless. I couldn't spend the morning looking at her at them. I sensed frantically, trembling at the thought of being late. Thanks to her, I was very on time for work twice that week, and my boss gave me a cold stare, wondering if I was getting lax before my wedding. I won't forgive her. No, wait, I'm her older sister. I should forgive her. No, I won't forgive her. No, wait, I was in conflict with myself. Even our parents didn't realize the extent of my sister's harassment at first, but they eventually noticed something was off after she started hitting our valuables. Alice's mother scolded her sister and saying, "Why are you acting like such a child?" Well, Alice didn't seem to care much, thinking it was just her being noisy. But the problem was her father. After her sister was born, their mother fell ill, and even though it was only for a few weeks, their father took care of her while she was still very weak. He had a tendency to depend on her sister more than me or anyone else. It was because he had developed a motherly sense for his childcare experience. I don't blame him for feeling that way. I also found my little sister cute, especially since she had grown up during a difficult time. As for the experience of being left out, I think it was when I was like little and I said, I want to go to an amusement park. But my sister started making a fuss and said, I want to go to the aquarium. My father decided, okay, let's go to the aquarium. My mother asked me if I was okay with going to the amusement park too, so I didn't really have any bad memories of my father's favoritism towards my sister. But if my mother wasn't such a caring person, I probably would have had a lot of inferiority complex about it. At the time, my friends also said that my sister was more loved than me, but I just thought that love was unequal everywhere. I guess that's just my natural optimistic personality. I'd like to see anyone try to bring me down. But this time, my father was blatantly taking my sister's side. My sister's boyfriend was taken away from her. Kai is a terrible man who has played with both her sister and her younger sister. I can't imagine Kai doing something like that, though. No, that's not true. Alice's mother listens to my opinion, even though she seems skeptical and tries to be fair to both me and my sister. However, my father won't listen to anything I say and thinks that I have been brainwashed by her. He talks as if I am defending Kai's actions, even though I am just trying to be objective. My father is a good man who loves my sister and me deeply, even though he may show a little favoritism. However, this time I needed him to listen to me a little more. It was very troublesome that even my marriage was being opposed, but I decided to go ahead and move in with Kai earlier than planned. Basically, if the problem was with my sister, I could just keep my distance from her. If I wasn't living at home, I wouldn't be harassed. The problem would end there. Actually, that decision turned out to be right, and our cohabitation life was too peaceful. As time passed, my mother told me, I think you are right and you are already an adult, so do what you want, live freely. My father didn't say anything surprising, though he seemed dissatisfied. He must have thought it was the best way to deal with it if Kai and I broke up, and he couldn't imagine Kai going to my sister either. I can't help feeling sorry for Kai, who has become such a villain, but there was no word from my sister, and I thought it was all over. And on the other day of the wedding, my sister still didn't attend, and my father urged me to reconsider the marriage, saying, It's not too late even now. I've thought that marriage can be tough, having gone through a few failed attempts with your father, so I'm ready for whatever comes our way. Alice's mother chuckled, while her father, who stood behind her, turned pale. Is that so? It may not have been a heartfelt celebration for everyone, but with both of her parents watching over her, we got married. The next day, the intercom in our house rang loudly, startling me and Kai. What is it? We quickly checked the monitor, only to find out that our family members had come to visit us. Dad, Mom, and even Christy. What's going on? My little sister gave me a sharp look, surprised by my reaction. I've been keeping quiet about this, but I'm pregnant with Kai's child. He needs to take responsibility. What do you mean? Luckily, you don't have any children yet. Kai needs to take responsibility for this. You should break up with Alice and let Christy and Kai get married. Give Kai up. Alice's mother looked at me and my sister, confused, and asked, "What's going on?" At the front door, where my mother was looking, Kai, still half asleep, had come to catch up with me. What? My kid? What are you talking about? He finally seemed to wake up and shook his head at me. No, I didn't do that. It was a flamboyant denial, like something out of a comic book. I know. His panicked reaction was suspicious, so I almost laughed, but I kept quiet. What do you mean by Kai's child? How many months pregnant are you? 2 months. If Kai didn't take responsibility, this child would be fatherless. That would be so sad. 2 months? I caught Kai's eye in shock after hearing my sister's words. Ahahaha. Kai and I laughed out loud, while our confused parents looked on. Christy stuttered, "What's so funny?" It's just that, that's right, 2 months ago. I laughed so hard that tears streamed down my face. Christy, we had fun the other day, didn't we? Haha, yeah. My sister was momentarily flustered by Kai's sudden question. Our parents, not understanding the meaning of Kai's words, glared at him with disgust. Perhaps only I understood what he was trying to do in this situation. By the way, Christy, how many abs did I have? My sister looked clueless, while I struggled not to burst out laughing. Do you remember how many abs I had 2 months ago? I accidentally lost them recently. No one talks about their abs, like they are lost property, quite like Kai does. I can't help but laugh, which only makes me feel like my own abs are popping out. What are you talking about, Kai? The answer is 0. I was about to say I already knew the answer, but Kai didn't even acknowledge his little sister's confused expression as he solemnly confessed that he didn't have any abs. Even my mom is laughing now. It's a competition to see who can make the other laugh more. For question 2, you will see my mole. Like, how many do I have? What are you talking about? Alice's sister seems to be confused about how to respond to Kai's strange question. It's understandable, since that seems to be Kai's goal, to confuse and toy with her. There's no physical contact between them, so there's nothing to worry about. Alice's sister can't answer Kai's question, and if she messes up, it would be a lucky break for him. He keeps asking her questions she can't answer, enjoying her confusion. Their mother is starting to feel uneasy about their behavior and distance. Isn't there something weird about their relationship? It's no wonder, since they wouldn't act like this if they had spent the night together. This conversation itself is proof that nothing has happened. It's just Kai's way of getting back at Alice's sister, making her uncomfortable and confused. He looks like a child who just got a new toy, with an innocent expression on his face. I can't deal with this kind of joking around, and I wonder how Kai's future wife will be able to put up with it. As I ponder this, I watch my sister's reaction. She seems despaired as she considers the second question. 10 of them? Boo. Unfortunately, I don't know the answer either. Even Alice's father couldn't help but burst out laughing at that. At the same time, he tried to hide his frustration. Cut it out, Kai. Don't go fooling around with my daughters and then act like a clown. I stepped in to stop father before he could grab Kai. Wait, listen to me. You said she's 2 months pregnant, right? Then considering the timing, it's impossible for it to be Kai's child. What do you mean? My words caught her attention. Can I say it? When I glanced at Kai, he looked softly unhappy, but nodded reluctantly. Wait a second, can I say something? Go ahead. Alright, here goes. Actually, it was me. During that time, I got stung by a bee in a very important place. At that moment, even Kai's little sister couldn't hold back her laughter. Enough with the lights. You wouldn't get stabbed in a place like that, right? Her angry father slammed his hand on the table, while her mother laughed uncontrollably. Well, you see, embarrassing as it is, it's true. It was so hot and I wanted to cool off a bit, so I opened the window and relaxed in my birthday suite, thinking no one could see me. Then suddenly this guy flew in from outside and killed me. Kai blushed so much that even his ears turned red. I wanted to stop him from exposing his embarrassing story, but I couldn't help bursting out laughing. That's a lie. That could never happen. No, there really are embarrassing guys like that there. Kai argued loudly against Alice's father's word, but it wasn't a story to be proud of. But that doesn't prove that my child isn't Kai's. Even the sister, who was about to lose her position, came back to life and joined the conversation. No, Christy, think about it. It was a bee. It stung him in a vital spot. Hey, father-in-law, imagine it. As men, we can understand the pain of having a place as important as our lives hurt. Christy fell silent, looking at Kai's face. Perhaps she imagined the situation through his explanation. The father, who had quickly made a stern expression, now visibly believed Kai's words. It's really important for a man, a delicate part of him. So it was tough. We even called an ambulance. I was more embarrassed than he was since I was with him. I couldn't help but comment on Kai's story. I had a fever too, and it was tough. It's too maniacal to try to make a baby in that state. You can confirm with the hospital we went to if you want. In a very audible voice, he said that to my mother, who responded by laughing uncontrollably. Ha 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 ha. Kai, didn't you have a habit of taking off your swimsuit when you played in our vanity pool a long time ago? Come on, show me where I stabbed you. Laughing heartily while wiggling her fingers, my mother approached Kai. There is no proof here that it happened, since it's already healed. There's no way I'm showing you. For some reason, he covered his chest instead of the delicate area and tried to escape from mother's grasp. Based on what I saw, it seems like my mother has completely trusted him now. I was relieved, but Kai didn't seem to feel the same way in a different sense. Well, I sympathize with him as a man. He wouldn't tell such an embarrassing lie, so there's no need to confirm it with the hospital. At that moment, my father had a gentle look that seemed to respect Kai's pride. It was a face I had never seen before. Ironically, because of the location of his wound, he received quick understanding from Element. I wonder if this counts as making the best of a bad situation. In the midst of this, I said to my sister, who stood there, dumbfounded, "Hey, even if you are told such a stupid lie, Kai and I want to get a divorce. I think it will only make you more miserable. You might not believe me, but I'm your only sister who really wants you to be happy. At that moment, my sister's eyes winded with anger. Enough! 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 I can't take it anymore. I don't even like Kai, who takes your side. Emotional and angry, my sister tried to grab me, but Kai strongly pushed her hand away. It doesn't matter if she doesn't like me. I love Alice, so it's irrelevant. I think of Christy as my important childhood friend and sister-in-law, but I will never see her as my lover. If you keep repeating such words, I will take them head-on. As Alice's husband, I will do everything to protect her. I felt like crying. I was stung by a bee, and Kai said something like a mysterious muttering. I might be done for. The world is my enemy. Despite his absurd words, I couldn't help but think my husband was cool. Christy, if you really are pregnant, show us your medical records, or whatever. After hearing this, it became clear that Alice's parents had believed in the pregnancy solely based on Christy's words, without any evidence. I love my parents for always believing what I said without question, but this time their kindness seems to have backfired. My sister, biting her lip, trembled and quivered. Apologize to the two of us if you are lying. That's enough! Nobody's on my side. I don't care if you regret it later. My sister, tears in her eyes, left their scene. Father tried to follow her, but mother stopped him. Let her go. Let's cool our heads. 2 weeks had passed since then. It seemed that my mother had forcibly taken my sister, who still insisted that she was pregnant, to the obstetrics and gynecology department. But there were no signs of pregnancy after all. She was diagnosed as a healthy adult without any possibility of illness. My father and mother apologized to Kai, saying, "We are sorry for doubting you and causing you trouble. We should have believed Kai, whom we've known for a long time. Please take care of Alice." They also bowed their heads to me and said, "We are very sorry for making you feel bad." To be honest, I didn't tell them about the deterioration of my relationship with my sister, so I don't think my parents are to blame. Although there may be various opinions about the parents who trust their daughter without doubting her, it's a fact that they are reliable for their daughter. After all, they haven't changed, and they are the only precious parents I have. Everyone makes mistakes once or twice. It just so happened that this time, my parents fell victim to my sister's favoritism, but for the great favor of raising me this fair, I will forgive them. After all, without these parents, I wouldn't have grown up to be this happy, and I won't have met Kai. My sister felt embarrassed after her pregnancy lie was exposed and had a sudden change of heart. "Such a house is not worth staying in," Christy said angrily before storming out. If this had happened before, our father would have gone after her, coddling her as he always did. But this time he said it would be better for Christy to have a cooling off period away from home. You can't just excuse her reckless behavior by saying it's a manifestation of her love. If she comes back and doesn't apologize properly, she won't be welcome in this house. I couldn't imagine my sister, who had been so furious, apologizing to us so easily. And my mother agreed. Essentially, she had been disowned. 7 years later, my sister came back and apologized to our parents and us. But in the end, she was still ostracized and kicked out. This time, it was because of an incident that occurred on New Year's Eve. Even she drank too much and caused trouble. She clambered into Kai's bed while he was sleeping and said, "Aren't you tired of being with your wife all the time? Why don't you spend some time with me? Kai, who thought he had seen a ghost, screamed loudly enough to make up the entire neighborhood. That's when our parents and I found out about what had happened. My sister was quite drunk at the time and said, I just wanted to spend some time with him. I'm jealous of how close he is with my sister. Of course, I couldn't do it, and I won't even try. I was fuming, and even Kai cowered like a situation when I yelled, Cut it out already! My parents, especially my father, who had always doted on my sister, wore expressions I had never seen before as they disowned her, and he remarked with disgust, I never raised a child who would attack a man while he slept. I will never forget how repulsed he looked. My sister, now sober, apologized over and over again, but my father rebuffed her, saying, The actions we take while drunk are a reflection of our true selves. I can't trust anything you say anymore. My sister tearfully left home after being turned away by my father. Meanwhile, my first pregnancy was discovered shortly after that tumultuous New Year's Eve, and I continued to have children consistently, giving birth to 4 kids by the time I was 34. 2 of them are twins, so I have given birth 3 times, but they are so close in age that it's like having a party every day. If I don't keep a close eye on them, they will draw with crayons until the walls resemble an art exhibition. On Sunday mornings, Kai and I rush around the house with a cleaner in hand, erasing every drawing they make. But even with all the disasters, these days are full of joy. My youngest is going through a bit of a rebellious phase, refusing to wear clothes, brush their teeth, or go to the bathroom. They are quite a handful, but when I see the sweeping faces of my 4 angels, I forgive them for everything. Alice's parents, who had been eagerly awaiting their first grandchild, were just as excited about the birth of multiple little angels. They frequently came to our house to help with child rearing. Kai was also supportive of raising the child, and though he's been losing his hair due to constantly being pulled on while carrying them, he still greets them with a smile that says he can't get enough of their cuteness. He worries about his thinning hair, but with your recent promotion, you can now afford good hair treatments. I can't wait to see Kai struggle with his hair loss, but whether good or bad, I want to see all sides of the person I love. Our home is anything but quiet and peaceful. In fact, it's so noisy that it's the complete opposite. Despite this, I feel incredibly happy right